made their worst start to a season since 1955. 2 wins to go along with 10 losses. Take a look at the Cardinals lineup with Dexter Fowler, Tommy Pham, and Matt Carpenter. Marcell Ozuna riding an 11-game hit streak. Jose Martinez red hot. Then Yadier Molina. Paul DeYoung, long home run last night, his 4th of the year. Colton Wong, and the pitcher batting ninth, Luke Weaver. Tyler Mahle pitched on Sunday against the Pirates. Took the loss in that game, 5-0 the final. He went 4 2/3. He does have a win. That was against Chicago, the only Red starter with a win thus far this year.
He has the 4 basic pitches, but primarily a fastball slider pitcher. You talk about that win against the Cubs. That was his debut this year, and it was a one-hitter. And of course, there's significance to that because his last time out in Pittsburgh, as you said last Sunday, the Reds only had 1 hit, and that was Tyler Mahle's hit. So it's all about ones, and of course, he did give up 2 home runs in that game. As good as he was in opening day or his first start, he had his problems in his second.
The defense around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Duvall, Hamilton, and Winker in the outfield. Pennington and Peraza on the left side of the infield. Jeanette and Votto on the right side. Devin Mesoraco gets the start behind the plate. Dexter Fowler scored a team-high 3 runs last night. When he scores 2 or more runs in his career, his teams have won 84% of the games that he's played in. So you get the idea. If he scores runs, the team goes and wins.
Yeah, when you see the low average right now, but you can tell we talked about that, the first 3 in the lineup, if they get on base, which they did quite a bit last night, how the offense will gel.
And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Angel Hernandez calling the balls and strikes tonight.
So that first fastball, 89 miles an hour, but as the sequence will go on, he'll increase the velocity.
And a high fly ball lifted out to left. Adam Duvall under it and makes the catch. We announced that Jesse Winker was in right field, and we look up and it's Philip Urban in right field. So a late change right before our first pitch for Brian Price's club. We'll see if that has any change in their lineup. Here's Tommy Pham. And Pham looks at a strike.
I thought it was great last night. The final out was a fly ball slicing into right center, and Tommy Pham in a 13-4 game catches it.
Tommy has scored runs in 4 straight games. He's reached base safely in his last 11 against Cincinnati.
Seen a lot of guys that would kind of lay back on balls that late in the game, but he only knows 1 speed.
That kind of sums up Tommy Pham.
Yep, 1 gear and full throttle.
First time this year the team had more walks than strikeouts. Cardinals drew 11 walks to 8 strikeouts last night. The 1-2 pitch. 8 different Cardinals drew at least 1 walk. Every starter reached base at least twice, except Ozuna, and he homered. There were 4 home runs hit in the game last night by St. Louis. And a strikeout of Tommy Pham. No argument. First strikeout of the night. We turn to Al Hrabosky's Toyota keys to the game.
It was so much fun watching that offense last night. Let's just keep it going. This is an explosive ballpark, so you can get a lot of home runs here like they had last night, but also beware of the high fastballs. Mahle's the kind of guy that he'll kind of throw from a little bit uphill, and he'll surprise you with the velocity when he's up.
Strike 2, Matt Carpenter. Last night went over 2. Did have a couple of walks. Cardinals have won 5 straight games overall against the Reds, and 8 of the last 9 going back to last season. inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
The Cardinals are going to contend this year. They're going to have to do better against clubs like Cincinnati they did a year ago. They were just 1 game over 500, 10 wins, 9 losses.
That's it out of play. You might see some weird things happen tonight, Friday the 13th. You never know. And I'm working with the Mad Hungarian. Weird things happen every night.
Thanks, partner.
Here's a 2-2. Strikeout of Carpenter. Elevated that pitch.
That's one we were talking about.
The Cardinals go in order. Luke Weaver emerging into a superstar. He's been very good so far this year. Heads to the mound when we come back. He's been very good on the road. If you go back to last season, last August, he's had 11 starts, 8-1 ERA of 3.5. He just seems to get better and better and better.
You see the 4 conventional pitches he throws, and he's pitching with so much more confidence. 6'2", 180. I think those 10 extra pounds of muscle are very helpful. But he's one of these guys that, you know, old-fashioned, kind of uses his legs a lot more than most guys today. That drop and drive rather than tall and fall.
Here's Billy Hamilton. And he looks at a strike.
Great numbers against the Reds, Danny. 2-0 and ERA 1.64.
And the 1-0 to the switch hitter. Part of this slow start for the Reds, not only their pitching, but their offense. Reds outfielders have combined to hit 197. Billy Hamilton is hitting 167 thus far. The 1-1 pitch. It's also a banged up team are the Cincinnati Reds. Scott Schebler not in their lineup. Eugenio Suarez. They would be a couple regulars normally every night at the disposal of Brian Price, who's under fire here in Cincinnati.
Had a nice long talk with him at the batting cage today, and he seems very relaxed. And that's the only way he can be. Going to happen, it's going to happen.
Up and in, not the way that Weaver wants to start this game. He walks Billy Hamilton. There's 247 career stolen bases. Jose Peraza began the year 0 for 12, and since then he's hit 400, including last night, a 3-hit game. Three for 5 last night, a pair of doubles for Peraza. On a hop to Wong, could be 2 out at second, and the stretch by Martinez, and safe at first.
Mike Matheny's going to have the check this one. Hard hit ball. Billy Hamilton had to stop. He thought it might be a line drive and a close play at first base. There he looks like he's safe.
Talked to Jose Martinez today before the game, and he said he's still trying to get used to when to stretch, when not to stretch. And something interesting that he said is every infielder has a different rotation on the ball, meaning some guys cut it when they throw it to him, some guys sink it.
That's interesting.
He said, I'm really trying just to get used to that. He said some guys, it's straight as an arrow, right at your chest.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
4 seam, straight as an arrow, chest high. But you do have to, and you know, for a guy 6'7", trying to learn how to use the footwork over there at first base, that could be problematic. He also, you know, we know about the Achilles contusion. See how close that was there. the contusion, but he also hit a ball off his other ankle. So he said both feet are pretty sore right now.
There's Joey Votto. Saw his consecutive starting string snapped last night at 202 consecutive games. He's 2 walks shy of 1,000 for his career. 2 active players are there right now, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera. And when he gets to 1,000, he said he will donate his helmet to baseball's Hall of Fame. That's it out of play. Last year, 19 games for Joey Votto. And look at those numbers in his career against St. Louis.
I believe he had 6 home runs and 17 RBIs against the Cardinals a year ago.
And hit 418.
Yeah. And how odd is it that the last time he sat out like he did last night was against St. Louis?
1 ball and 2 strikes. Short lead at first by Peraza. As Votto pops it up down the left field line and out of play.
And I was going to say, you look at Votto, a great hitter for youngsters to kind of emulate, and look at he's choking up.
Puts the ball in play, puts a premium on that.
No doubt.
It still hits for power when he does that.
Always has the on-base percentage leader in the league. Hands very close to the chest.
2-2. He has no extra base hits this year. In his career, he's averaged at least 1 extra base hit every 10 at bats. Very impressive. The 2-2 pitch. That's it out of play. Changes with the Reds in their lineup after Winker was scratched. So here it is: Hamilton, Peraza, and Votto. Jeanette, Mesoraco, Duvall. He moves up a spot. Then Irvin, Cliff Pennington, and the pitcher spot. That walk by Luke Weaver to Billy Hamilton was his first ever against the Reds. And a high fly ball lifted out to left. In the corner goes Ozuna. He made a dazzling play last night. As he leaped the wall on the side. Took a souvenir away. Cardinal defense: Ozuna, Pham, and Fowler in the outfield. Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, and Martinez on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. That's presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center.
You mentioned that first walk. Weaver had 13 strikeouts to no walks against the Reds coming in, and this is not a place you want to give free passes the way the ball flies.
Here's Scooter Gennett. Clubs talk about how Scooter Gennett can turn on any fastball, and to his credit, made an adjustment in the 3rd inning on a changeup. The 1-2 pitch by Michael Wacha drove it into right center, and that drove in 2. And he got the fastball there.
Good location with it, away from the left-handed hitter. That's been a part of Weaver's success too, is how he's controlled the left-handed bats. They came in batting only 190 against him.
Scooter with a modest 4-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 17, pair of doubles, has driven in 3. And the 0-1. Turned into a very good player here in Cincinnati. One ball and 2 strikes. Jeanette didn't like that call.
After being released from Milwaukee late last spring.
Angel Hernandez behind the plate. Todd Titchener at first. Alan Porter at second. The crew chief Bill Miller is down at third. And the 1-2 pitch to Scooter Gennett. Struck him out. First strikeout of the night for Luke Weaver. Reds strand a runner coming up for St. Louis. Ozuna, Martinez, and Molina. Ozuna did not see the Reds all that much playing in the National League East, but he made the most of it. 19 career hits against Cincinnati. 13 of the 19 have gone for extra bases. 5 home runs, 7 doubles, and a triple.
I kind of wonder what those numbers would be if you saw him as many games as he'll see now playing in the Central Division.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Malley, 23, 6'3", 210 pounds, out of Newport Beach, California. 7th round pick in 2013.
A quiet kid that they say really's got a good feel for pitching, and will throw his fastball anywhere from 89 to about 97.
On deck, Martinez, and then Yadier Molina. 3-2 pitch. Ozuna hits it out of play. We had just over 11,000 here at the ballpark last night. It's 79 degrees on a Friday night. Bigger crowd. And we understand a lot of rain is headed our way tomorrow and Sunday. Strikeout of Ozuna, and that's 3 in a row and 3 in the game. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Marcell Ozuna, and also Jose Martinez. You see Martinez, 3rd in average, 2nd in RBI, and he's a tough guy to strike out.
It's the toughest in the National League right now. But everything about his game is going in the right direction.
And the Reds trying to figure out how to pitch him. And talking with Jose before the game, they've gone inside. They've tried away. They've elevated. It hasn't worked. 15 for his last 30 against the Reds.
Dan, it's so amazing when you see he's 6'7", he wiggles the bat. He's got so much movement in the batter's box. You would think you could get in on it. You would think you couldn't fight off an inside pitch. You always want to get his arms extended, but.
And he goes to right and picks up the base hit. It's a good example of it right there.
Yep. And in my mind, that's why his hits for such a high average, because he uses all the field.
Kubota power stats. Yadier Molina, one of his longest home runs he's ever hit was last night. His numbers against the Reds. His 20th career home run against Cincinnati. That's the first team that he's hit 20 home runs against. And he loves this ballpark. A career .320 hitter at the Great American Ballpark. Still greeted by the fans here with boos. It's taken low. Martinez is out at second base. Straight steal, hit and run. What do you think?
I was going to say, I would think a missed hit and run. Mesoraco does not throw as well as Barnhart, but in this case, he's good enough to get the big guy.
So 2 outs now, nobody on the bases, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1 the count.
I asked Ale Mamal, the first base coach, about the move of Malley, and he says he's very good at paying attention and keeping runners close. So you really wouldn't think that would be a straight steal, but And Yachty is so good at hitting to the opposite field, hitting behind a runner, so maybe a missed sign.
And Molina hits it in the air out to right field. Irvin back at the wall. Gone! Yadier Molina, opposite field home run. He's now up to 5 this year.
Alley gave up 2 home runs in his last outing there in Pittsburgh, but just an indication how well the ball will travel here. You know, you really thought it was just going to be a harmless fly ball to right, and you saw Irvin just keep on going back, and he said he's going to run out of room, and it'll be the 5th home run. Down and away, just good concentration, making contact, and the ball just carries.
378 feet with that home run.
5th home run of the year already.
And last night, Paul DeJong with the 3rd longest home run in baseball this year. It was 110 miles per hour, the hardest hit ball of his career. As DeJong picked up home run number 4, and it was 464 feet. How about Yachty? Getting better with age. It is a testament to his drive to be better, to those catchers that have come up in the system that have tried to push him. He's going nowhere, nor should he. 2-2 pitch. Strikeout of DeJong, 2 in the inning, and the 4th tonight. But Yadier Molina on a 2-1 pitch, an opposite field home run. 1-0 St. Louis.
Beach, he threw a scoreless inning last night. Talked to the GM Michael Gersh today. He told me Gregerson is scheduled to throw again tonight. That way they can see how he does going back to back. Gersh told me if all goes well, we could see Gregerson back with the Cardinals as early as Monday. So far, Gregerson's appeared in 3 games for Palm Beach, Dan, and he's pitched very well.
There's a high fly ball into the corner and left off the bat of Mesoraco and pulled foul. And Al, I know you had the chance to visit with Mike Matheny about Greg Holland and what we may see tonight if called upon.
Yeah, Mike indicated that if it was a 9th inning situation, a save situation, that he would have no problem going to Greg Holland. I think they'd be a little cautious of initially. It'd be maybe back-to-back days, but that's the beauty of the Cardinals bullpen. You got some guys down there that have that experience, you know, late innings and closing experience. So I think when Gregerson comes here and everybody's healthy, that's going to be one of the real strengths of the ball club.
Here's a 1-2. And don't forget about the potential of Alex Reyes. Could go in the rotation or the bullpen.
Well, the nice thing is now with Holland here, you can just kind of, you know, really bring him into, you don't have to rush him. They put him on the 60 days. So, you know, even in our discussion, Mike even acknowledged that he's really not even paying attention to Reyes right now because you won't see him until the end of May.
Yeah, I didn't know if I bought that.
I didn't either.
Mike said, well, it is Alex Reyes, Mike. You know, it's.
He wants to know everything about it.
The 2-2. And I don't blame him.
And the report was, yes, he brushed his teeth today and got dressed.
Everything's going to be fine.
How about Luke Weaver? He has been something this year. Finished great late last season.
Mesoraco pops it up near the screen. Molina, and out of play. Mesoraco has dealt with concussions and all types of injuries the last couple of years. He's given way now to that playing time primarily to Tucker Barnhart. It's a long night for Barnhart. We made the point that he was playing hard at the end of the game last night. A blowout, ugly loss for Cincinnati. They got in late yesterday morning from Philly. And he did go. A strikeout, 2 in a row for Weaver, and his 2nd on the night. Kia drive to success concerning Luke Weaver and his last 6 road starts. Look at those numbers, 5-0 and a 2.61 ERA. The team has won every one of those starts.
You don't often see a pitcher with a single-digit uniform number, and I asked Weaver about that. He said my number in high school and college was number 7. It makes me think that I'm much more than just a pitcher. I'm a complete athlete and player. And he can swing the bat. We know he can pinch run. But he believes that, you know, he's one of the finer athletes on the team.
He's been used as that pinch runner, as you talked about, late games, late in those games. Here's Duvall off to a slow start, hitting 103 and just 1 hit in his last 22 plate appearances with 11 strikeouts. And the 0-2 just missed on the outside corner. Duvall had 15 outfield assists last year. It was most by a Reds outfielder since Pete Rose in 1973.
I told you about Pete Rose on this date. 1963, he got his first major league hit. 21 years later on this same date, he got his 4,000th hit. The all-time hits leader.
The 2-2 pitch. And a ground ball circled by DeYoung, off balance throw, and the stretch by Martinez. MLB at bat. Your #1 Cardinals app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Cardinals home screen icons, features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at bat today. There's Phillip Ervin with 2 outs and a strike. Many believe Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. If you walk through Cooperstown, many of his items are there. And in a way, you're selling the game of baseball with a lot of what Pete Rose has brought to the game. But he committed the ultimate sin of betting on baseball.
There's only one rule posted in every clubhouse in professional baseball, and that's about Rule 21 about betting on the game. He will be elected into the Hall of Fame as soon as he's eligible, but he's never been on the ballot because baseball is banned it.
And a strikeout. The fastball on the outside corner. 3rd strikeout for Luke Weaver. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. The tailing pitch in 95 from Luke Weaver. Colton Wong fan sees Colton sky one into left. Adam Duvall with the catch. And that's the first out here in the top of the 3rd. And it brings in Luke Weaver.
Swing the bat a little bit. He can help his own cause.
One for 4 so far this year. Outfield is shallow and straight away. First pitch, a strike. Cardinals with 13 runs, 4 homers, and 11 walks last night. They've won now 6 straight overall in Cincinnati. And a late swing. A strikeout of Weaver, and that's 5 for Malley. Bill Miller there on the right, John Mabry on the left, the hitting coaches of the Cardinals. Back by popular demand, don't miss Grateful Dead Night at Busch Stadium. That's April 20th, a Friday night. Purchase of a special themed ticket, you receive an exclusive Grateful Dead inspired Cardinals t-shirt. Grateful Dead Night tickets on sale now, cardinals.com/theme. Fowler fly to left, first time up, looks at a strike. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Fowler inside. Way off the line at third base, Pennington. The 1-2. Hits it to him. Backhands it, shows off the arm. Sure, a little bit sore after last night and his appearance on the mound. Cardinals go in order, and it's 1-0. Always good to see that. Got to get fans to the park, and once they're here, they're hooked. Come to a baseball game, you get hooked. But you got to come. You got to get there.
And when you can't do that, you got to watch on TV.
Spoke to Mike Matheny about that today, and I asked him about growing up as a Reds fan. He said he couldn't afford, their family could not afford to go to many games, but his grandmother actually kept a stack of scorecards that she used to keep while listening to the games on radio. And I said, all right, well, who's your favorite player? And he said, if you grew up in Ohio and you're a catcher, it's Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench. I thought about you when he said she had the scorecards. You could go, oh, probably sent you a hate letter. Tell that story.
Well, the reason you refer to that is you get a look at Cliff Pennington. A few years ago, I said, well, for those of you scoring at home, the play went such and such and such and such, and here's the official ruling.
You didn't.
Sure I did.
You kind of said, I don't know where to keep score at home.
I said, I'm not sure who would possibly be keeping score at home and why you would do that. But if you are, that's ripped down the right field line foul. And we return the next homestand, and there was a stack of mail with plenty of scorecards for me to review.
Nice gentleman.
That'll make you come back to the ballpark, too.
Sure will.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Nicely done, sir.
Ohio. A lot of St. Louis kids go there, don't they?
My niece.
Yeah.
Plays basketball there.
Kevin's daughter?
Yes, sir. 3-2 pitch. In the air to right. Fowler backing up. And he makes the catch. Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app where you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets till first pitch. Or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of the St. Louis Cardinals. Malley does have a hit, batting .333.
Like I said, he got that hit against Tyon and the Pirates in his last start, and that was the only hit that the Reds got in that ball game, that losing 5-0.
And a ground ball that's handled by Martinez. He'll step on the bag. There's two away, and it brings in the top of the lineup at Billy Hamilton. Walked his first time up.
Last thing you want to do with Billy Hamilton.
Never forget the time Jerry Davis, after a Bruce Sutter save, flipped me a souvenir as a kid, and I was hooked. Jerry Davis, a longtime Major League umpire and a St. Louis native.
Yeah, St. Louis native. I think he lives now in Wisconsin, but been around a long time. Knew your family too, didn't he?
He did.
Did you realize it was who you were at the time? Just a kid.
Just a kid.
That's even better. I like the way these two pitchers are going right after hitters.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Hamilton. Taken high.
See that last pitch there. Now it was way above the strike zone, but Weaver, you know, very unusual the way he uses the drop and drive, uses his legs and then almost throws uphill.
Like that.
Yep. And with his velocity, he can get a lot of guys to chase. There's my era, the classic drop and drive pitcher was Tom Seaver, and he would actually wear a knee pad. He'd wear a pad because he would get so low to the ground he'd drag his knee, you know, on the mound.
See the dirt that would collect on the knee.
You'd see the pad be dirty. And
the 2-2.
You see how he uses his legs and really bends, and because then he gets at such a low trajectory, he almost throws uphill.
The 2-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Billy Hamilton. We come back. Tell you about a Hall of Fame broadcaster, Marty Brennaman. What he's most proud of may surprise you. No hitters, perfect games, World Series. But for those of you that are college basketball fans, he had the call of Christian Laettner's thrilling shot, one of the most famous plays in college basketball history. He's a member of baseball's Hall of Fame, National Radio Hall of Fame. A strike to Tommy Pham, and I was visiting with Marty today, and I said, what are you most proud of in your career? And he said, all those things are great, and they're wonderful, and they're part of my story. He said, but in 1990, I'm most proud of the fact that I quit smoking. He said he had polyps develop on his throat. Went to the doctor. Doctor said, well, you got a few choices. You keep smoking and it'll be a short-lived life. There's a base hit into right field for Tommy Pham, or you can try to quit. He said that he and Joe Nuxhall in a doubleheader would go through 4 packs of cigarettes. You know, it was commonplace back then. He'd smoke.
And I was watching the good Big Red Machine.
And so he said he went and got hypnotized, and it took one time. And he went back to the person that conducted that. They said, you're going to need this 2 or 3 times. He said he went back just to show respect, but that was it. He said it was done, and never, ever has picked up a cigarette since then. And he said, I am most proud of the fact that I've done that. I've lived long as Pham was running, and I've had a chance to be with my son on some of the games and be around my grandchildren. Tom Brennaman, of course, one of the voices of the Reds as well. And Marty credited to a great extent Jack Buck for getting him into the Hall of Fame. And he went in very young age to the Hall of Fame. And he said one of the first calls that was made, and he didn't know that it was being done, but it was Jack Buck who called him. And he later found out that Jack Buck was the one that was really pushing for Marty to get into the Hall of Fame. Here's the 0-1 pitch now to Carpenter instead of check on Pham, and looks like the Cardinals want to be aggressive with Mesoraco behind the plate.
Well, you know, Marty used to have a full head of hair and was most proud of his hair. And he made a bet with bench coach Chris Spire. If they went on a 10-game winning streak, he'd shave his head. And they went on that streak. They raised $50,000 for charity. He shaved his head and has been in love with it ever since. You know, so why didn't I do this years ago?
I get a kick out of talking to Marty every day when we come through here.
He's a great broadcaster, but sometimes he can tell it like it is on the air, and sometimes with the Reds and their problems finishing last place, it's very one-sided.
Well, it can rub some people the wrong way, and I do think, though, that fans have heard him for so long and have grown up listening to him, and they know that's his style, and it may not be the style that the players or management would appreciate, but that's how Marty is going to do the game.
And he's fair.
There you go. He told me a great story that Greg Vaughn played here for 1 year, and he said Greg Vaughn might be his all-time favorite Red.
Really?
And I said, what are you talking about? Pete Rose and Bench and all these great players. And he said, I loved how Greg Vaughn, and he said, I wasn't close with him at all. He said, but I watched him in the clubhouse, and he held players accountable. And I appreciated that as a broadcaster. And so Greg Vaughn was going into the Sacramento Hall of Fame, some type of Hall of Fame there, and they called Marty to do his speech and to put it on video. And so he did it, and it was played at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and Greg Vaughn could not believe it that Marty was talking about him in such glowing terms to the point that he started bawling. And then Greg Vaughn said, can I get Marty's phone number? And those two have become the closest of friends. "3-2, lifted in the air to center, and now Pham retreating back to first base. Catch made by Hamilton.
Well, Dan, hearing that story, that's Marty, because he wants, accountability.
Players play hard, play the game right,
Right.
respect the fans.
You understand that your preparation and everything you want to do, that sometimes you can have the greatest game plan, but it just doesn't materialize. The other team's trying to win also. But if you play with that maximum effort and you are accountable for your actions, I think you'd have no problem with him. He'd be in your court like he was with Vaughn.
Ozuna grounds to short. 6-4, 3 on the double play. The great Marty Brennaman, voice of the Reds. On Pham, let's check in with Jim.
Dan, Al mentioned it early. Not surprising to see Tommy Pham go all out to make a sprawling catch for the final out last night in a game that was all but over anyway. Tommy told me this: I only know one way to play. That's it. He told me, I play like that. I want to make a play for whoever is pitching. The pitchers know that. That's why I shag so many fly balls. The concept of pacing yourself for a long season is not one Pham embraces. He told me, I train in the off season so I can play the way I do all season. There's no pacing yourself from me. I don't even understand that. And then as for the defense with Pham, Ozuna, and Fowler in the outfield, Pham said, I think we have a chance to save a lot of runs.
Good stuff, Jimmy, and great to see Pham. A blowout game, still giving what you expect from Tommy Pham, 100%.
I know Mike Matheny pulled him aside when he came off the field and complimented him for that. Fans would watch during batting practice. You'll see Tommy Pham reading balls off the bat during the batting practice, and it's a great way to learn. Find your limitations, get that better jump.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Foul back. A lot of the outfielders now, not just with the Cardinals, but all across Major League Baseball, you'll see them go in their back pocket. They've got little cheat sheets. And the infielders of the Cardinals will look directly at Yadier Molina and Ali Marmol for direction of where to go. Positioning with every pitch changing. And a swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 5 for Luke Weaver.
And here's another great pitch, up and in. The ball just explodes up there. It's near the eye level, so you see it more clearly, but usually the end result is going to be a swing and miss, and at best a pop-up.
Now Joey Votto. Little check swing back to Weaver. Thank you very much. 2 down.
You don't see that often, do you?
Just to finish the thought on Jose Martinez and the relationship he has with Jose Oquendo. He said when he moves me, the percentage I would put on it in terms of where it's right, where all of a sudden I move 2 steps to my right, I get a ground ball there, or to my left, or I come in. He said it's been 95% right where Oquendo puts him. I said 95%. He said, Dan, I'm telling you, he's right because he's so in sync with Yadier Molina, understanding how he's going to call the game, understanding the opposition, and then also understanding me. And now he's just moved 2 steps to his left, right on the line. And a fly ball out to left. Ozuna with the catch. Great to have him back. The secret weapon, Jose Oquendo. It was a base hit to right, first time up by Jose Martinez. Then was caught stealing. Next man up, Molina, parked a home run into right. That's the difference this far in this game. 1-0 St. Louis.
Big night for Jose last night. He's got a little modest 4-game hitting streak during that time. He's 7 for 9.
4 hits, 6 driven in last night. First Cardinals since Red Schoendienst in 1953 to have 6 RBIs, 4 hits, 2 doubles, a home run in a single game.
Yeah, we got to say hi to Big Red. Redhead. Look at this.
Down the right field line, and Martinez, a 2-hit night and counting. He's 2 for 2. All he does is hit. On a 2-1 pitch, back into second. Yadier Molina with this home run.
Passed Lou Brock last night on the Cardinals all-time home run list.
Up next, Bill White, 9 behind him. And a ground ball slowly hit left side. Can they turn 2? No, it's an error. And Martinez stays at second base. Still nobody out. And an error on Cliff Pennington.
With Molina running, Pennington really didn't have to throw it that hard that quickly. I know he's trying to get the out at second base. Ball's not hit hard, but you're still going to get Jose Martinez with a good throw, and then you're going to get Molina at first base, but rushed the throw and threw it wide. Got to take advantage of it.
Fielder's choice, E5 on the play. Now DeYoung, who struck out looking his first time up. Ground ball left side off of Pennington, and everybody's safe and the bases are loaded. And it's another error on Pennington. They have Nick Senzel, who's a top prospect and a third baseman for the Reds. We may see him called up before the weekend is through. They don't want to start his clock yet. Would save them a year of major league time, but boy, oh boy.
I mean, here you got a pitcher pitching a whale of a ball game, and you're not helping him out. But had that conversation with Brian Price about Senzel, and you know, part of what he was talking about is, you know, we need to help to sell tickets here. You know, we need to have somebody that they can identify and get behind, and he's their best prospect and was number 2 in the draft 2 years ago out of the University of Tennessee.
Now Colton Wong. Colton's dad is in attendance tonight. His brother plays at the AAA affiliate of Tampa Bay, so they're watching Colton tonight and his brother tomorrow.
Needs a hit here, doesn't he?
Cardinals need it with the pitcher on deck. Maley still could get out of this jam.
Colton 0 for his last 9 and just really not off to the start that he would like to have.
Long pops it up left side. It is playable. Pennington called off by the shortstop Peraza for the out. That's a big out.
Really is. And you talked about Maley having a chance to work out of this jam and getting that first out. Now you have the pitcher spot come up here.
He struck out back in the third.
I was going to say, hopefully Maley thinks that, okay, he's got the sure second out here. And I know Weaver has other plans. He wants to win his own ball game. His arm and bat.
And strike one on Weaver.
He's mad at himself. He's got a competitor, he is too. You know, he likes that competition.
First career at bat with the bases loaded. And the 0-1.
As Rocco even almost standing up, trying to elevate the ball, trying to get him to chase like the first one. Both these pitchers like to elevate the ball.
Puts it in play, and it could be 2. Out at second and out at first. Bases loaded, nobody out. 2 errors in the inning, and the Cardinals can't cash in. Still waiting for Luke Weaver just to go out and finish up his warm-up tosses after rounding into a double play. Little click, there it is, and back out on the mound. Saturday, May 5th, make your furry friend happy by taking home a special Cardinals pet treat jar courtesy of Purina. The pet treat jars are available upon gate entry. 30,000 pet lovers ages 16 and older. That's May 5th. Cardinals and Cubs, cardinals.com/promotions. Some missed opportunities, Al Raboski, here tonight for the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals have hit into 2 double plays and had a runner thrown out at second attempting to steal. But if you're Luke Weaver, you just go out there and just worry about retiring the opposition. He walked the leadoff man of this ball game and has retired everybody since.
He has struck out 5 on the night and 1 walk. Luke Weaver, his night, the leadoff walk to Hamilton, and then after that, he's been sensational.
Well, both these pitchers are dealing. You know, a couple of youngsters, not a lot of experience, more so with Weaver, but Weaver's matching Maley pitch for pitch. Cardinals do have the lead, and they also have 4 hits. The Reds still looking for their first.
Goes back to August of last season, last 11 starts, and he's 8-1. Just has the look now that he belongs.
Yes. So important for you to send that message to a hitter. You know, just hitters can sense, you know, guys a little timid.
And a bouncer up the middle, diving stop by DeYoung from his knees, and safe at first. Mesoraco beats it out. May have had time to get up and try to make that throw, but regardless, terrific effort by Paul DeYoung.
Yeah, Paulie's going great range. Kendo positions him, but a little bit more towards up the middle. More so with Pinton on base, and a close play right there, but a great effort from DeYoung, and we're going to have a challenge.
The Reds do not have a hit thus far in the game.
Dives for this ball, and from his knees throws over. Bang bang play. It's when it does the ball hit the back of the glove.
I'd say he's out.
I think so too.
He's out. Could be very close.
Well, you know, this early in a ball game, if the Cardinals didn't have a better than 50-50 chance, they probably wouldn't do this.
I just wonder, I'm not sure it would play into it, but Luke Weaver is not allowed a base hit here tonight too.
Could.
Take one more look at it. Again, it has to get to the back of the glove. There. And the foot still not on the bat. I think he's out.
I think looking at that, it looks like it's pretty convincing. Of course, we're also seeing it through our Cardinal hearts. It's like Paul DeYoung might have had an abrasion on his elbow, as the trainers have been attending to that out in the middle of the diamond. Has there ever been a no-hitter on Friday the 13th?
No clue.
Get a decision right now. Safe.
Well, it has to be conclusive.
Yeah, I was going to say that'd be the only reason.
So base hit for Devin Mesoraco, first hit for the Reds tonight. And the batter will be Duvall.
I'll get a double play.
And a pitch taken high. 2 minutes and 55 seconds with the replay review.
I thought they were going to keep it to 2 minutes.
It's the idea. And the 1-0 is popped up. Calling for it, Carpenter, and he makes the catch. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and Jim Hayes is here as well. Here's Phillip Ervin. Struck out his first time up. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, you guys were talking about Luke looking the part. Part of it obviously is his stuff, which is very good. The other part is body language or persona on the mound. Luke told me it's something he changed intentionally. He told me he's a pretty chill guy, but that wasn't the message he wanted to send when he was on the mound. He wants to look like a guy in charge. I think he does.
He has had that look, and remember when he first came up, a guy that was maybe picking a little bit more than he had in the past, and now he just really challenges hitters. The presence has changed.
I think he's really set the tone. And obviously Mike Myers has followed, Jack Flaherty, that you come up and you probably give hitters a little too much credit. You're trying to saying, well, I got to make a perfect pitch here and it's ball one. Then you got to say, well, it's got to be even better, and you're getting pitching behind the count. You're picking too much, like you said. And then all of a sudden you decide, hey, I can pitch at this level, and I'm going to start projecting that image. That's blocked by Yachty, and Mesoraco's not going anyplace. But that body language is so important.
Tomorrow, Miles Michaelis and Brandon Finnegan. Finnegan will make his season debut. Sunday, Martinez against Homer Bailey. The 3-1. Popped up. And it's Wong making the catch. Full day of baseball tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest and FS1. The Cardinals continue their series with the Reds here on Fox Sports Midwest. It's an early start. Pregame begins at 11:30. FS1 has a doubleheader with the Rangers and Astros at 3, followed by the Angels and Royals at 6.
Two little pop-ups. Get the 2 outs here. So, and remember, he's just dominated against left-handed batters. Yachty set up way outside.
Here's Cliff Pennington. And a strike. Pennington is flied to right. He's 0 for 1. Very short lead at first by Mesoraco. Outfield is straight away. And a 1-1.
Got the pitcher on deck, 2 outs, but go right after Pennington.
Pennington, a position player, and pitched in his first regular season game last night. Had done that in the playoffs a few years ago. He was hitting 89 on the gun. .29 pitches, 1 hit, a run, 2 walks, and a strikeout for Pennington. Caught Molina. Here's a 2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Luke Weaver. Allows his first hit, but Mesoraco is stranded. We played 5. And the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. Temperatures ideal. Little breeze in the ballpark. It is perfect.
Won't be this way for long, though. But long enough to get a Cardinal victory.
Malley is lined 5 innings, 4 hits, a run. That was the home run hit by Yadier Molina. No walks, and he struck out 5 in 61 pitches to get through 5 innings. Very efficient. We've turned 2 double plays behind him. That's helped along the way. And the top of the lineup for the Cardinals, and Dexter Fowler. Fowler tonight is fly to left and also grounded to third. may remember this time last year, similar type numbers, slow start, and then got hot. The 2-0. Mike Matheny has talked about it here recently. The idea has crept back in his mind that he would look at flip-flopping Fowler and Carpenter in the lineup. And there's a drive into deep right. Irvin back at the wall, and it's gone. The second home run hit by the Cardinals. Fowler his second this year. And it's a 2-0 St. Louis lead.
I was a little surprised when Mike Matheny did breach that, broke that comment about possibly switching the lineup, and then makes you think of Fowler and Carpenter. But last year, you know, Fowler had career highs in home runs and RBIs, so it seemed like it would be an easy decision. And Matt Carpenter, boy, the numbers don't lie. He only hits in the leadoff spot.
Pham, a little flare into shallow right. Bermuda triangle out there, and it drops in for a hit. And Tommy Pham aboard for the second time. Reds now have allowed a major league high 23 home runs this year. Let's see if the Cardinals want to do some running here with Tommy Pham. It was Fowler's 700th career run scored. And he's 2 away from 100 home runs in his career.
To me, it's mind-boggling that why Carpenter doesn't hit outside of the leadoff spot. He's such a good hitter. And I know he's tried to say the right things, and I can hit in any spot, but
Carpenter hits it down the right field line. That ball is down. One hopper off the fence. Pham on his way to third and being held up.
nobody out.
I think Jose Oquendo may have been a little frustrated. The Chevy Fox Tracks that Pham didn't pick him up until late. He was looking behind, and that ball hit off the chain link fence, didn't bounce back to the right fielder. It was deadened, just dropped at the wall, and Pham might have been able to score, but with the cleanup man coming up, nobody out, chance for Ozuna to do some damage.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. With nobody out, you almost have to have him be able to walk home. And you got your big RBI man coming up. Got two in scoring position for Ozuna. He's got that 11-game hitting streak going.
They have two lefties in their pen. One of those getting loose right now. May not see Amir Garrett in this game or Rainey. They have been used a bunch this week. Infield is drawn in for Ozuna, trying to extend his hitting streak to 12. Amir Garrett, 17 pitches last night, had 14 the night before. And then Rainey had 37 last night, 25 on Tuesday, and he was sent down.
Cody Reed, was.
And a base hit for Ozuna. That'll score Tommy Pham. Carpenter stops at third, and Marcel has a 12-game hitting streak, and he drives in his 9th of the year. It's 4 consecutive hits for the Cardinals here in the 6th.
Trying to see the third time through the order, and he is so quick with those hands. Look at the ball hitting, running inside, and almost one-handed just pulls the bat through. Jenkins, the pitching coach, out to talk and slow things down and give the bullpen some time to recover.
Cardinals were 5 for 14 with runners in scoring position in game 1. And with that base hit, 1 for 4 tonight.
Quackenbush. Talking with Jim Riggleman today, he was talking about, you know, if your arm isn't hurt and you think you can still pitch a little bit, you got to try it. Like, so desperate looking for pitching, so many teams.
Ozuna now to 12 games with his hitting streak, 4 shy of his career high of 16. And now it's Jose Martinez. He's 2 for 2. Couple of base hits to right field. Runners at the corners. And a ball. Three 3-0 Cardinals. A home run back in the second by Molina. Home run by Fowler to start this inning. And an RBI base hit by Ozuna. Little chopper hit towards third. They go across the diamond, advancing Ozuna to second base. Really in between. Had to make sure that run didn't score. That was Carpenter. Got back to the bag and they couldn't turn 2.
Coach Carpenter, he comes off a little bit, but then he's trapped right there. But you got to get an out. So he goes across the diamond. He stopped Carpenter and made him go back to third base. So
infield in for Yadier Molina. Already with 5 home runs to start this year. He has tied the franchise record for home runs in April by a catcher. Ted Simmons had 5 in April of 1977. Cardinal home run record for April is 14. That was hit by Albert Pujols in 2006. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ripped into the gap in left center. 1 run is in. Here comes Ozuna. He will score. Molina has driven in 3 tonight, and it's a 5-0 St. Louis lead. Five hits in the inning. 4 runs in our Nissan drive of the game on a pitch that was up.
You know, that's the difference, Danny. Up above the strike zone is a pitcher's pitch. Up in the strike zone, hitters love it. They don't miss it.
And here comes Brian Price. And with that, it'll be a double switch. Luke Weaver, by the way, 9-0. The Cardinals 11-0 when Luke gets 3 runs of support or more in his career, and he's got 5 to play with right now.
It's a nice stat to have, isn't it?
Yep. That'll be it for Malley. Paul DeYoung is the hitter coming up for St. Louis.
Goslin, part of the double switch.
And this is our Chevy call to the pen. Part of the double switch, Kevin Quackenbush is the new pitcher. He's inserted into the 8th spot into the Reds lineup. Phil Goslin takes over at third, and he'll lead it off next inning for the Reds. 5-0 our score, and DeYoung takes a pitch high. Reached on an error back in inning number 5 and also was called out on strikes in the 4th. Malley pitches into the 6th. Still responsible for Molina. 9 hits, struck out 5, and 2 home runs allowed. The 2-0. Chased a pitch up. 2-1.
Quackenbush, we remember him from San Diego. He was a non-roster pitcher in spring training, made the only one to make their ball club.
And this is outing number 200 in his career. First 193 with San Diego. Everything high right now from Quackenbush. 3-1. And Young pops it up. Foul territory, and Joey Votto makes the catch. That's out number 2. In steps Colton Wong. Wong is fly to left, came up in the 5th with the bases loaded, nobody out, and popped out. And you're right, he needs to get something going.
And teammates made up for it there in the beginning of the 6th inning. I remember Mahle escaped the bases loaded, no out, jam in the 5th.
I wonder if Quackenbush is a duck hunter. Just thinking out loud.
Wow. Something Jim's good enough to find that out.
He's got the hunting beard.
Yeah.
Here's a 1-0. Wong with a base hit. That's into right. And Molina on his way to 3rd. So runners at the corners now for Luke Weaver. That's 6 hits in the inning for St. Louis.
He said, talked about keep the offense going, breaking ball, got a little hump in it, and drills it down the right field line.
And the 9th man come to the plate for the Cardinals. And it's the pitcher, Luke Weaver.
Sometimes you get in a game like this, Dan, and part of your head says, I want to hit, I want to drive in and run. Another part says, go, I got enough runs to go out and pitch.
Weaver, when he swings, you notice he bails an awful lot.
Yeah, I knew it was. I thought he was almost calling time the way he bailed out of there.
And the 1-1.
Step in the bucket.
If you are to be a duck hunter, there is no better name than Quackenbush. It's fouled back. You a duck hunter at all, Al?
I have, but not for a while.
I mean, that's the name, right? I mean,
right.
Quackenbush.
Works for Duck Dynasty in the offseason.
And Weaver is swinging a miss. Cardinals will strand 2, but a big inning for St. Louis. Began with Dexter Fowler in that home run. The hits just keep on coming. St. Louis on top. It's 5-0. Natty, our game summary. 5-0 our score. Luke Weaver has allowed 1 hit, 1 walk. He struck out 6. Molina, a home run, number 5. Fowler 1 for 3 with a homer. And Devin Mesoraco has a lone hit. Cardinals challenged it. We thought he may have been out, but it went the Reds' way for their 1 base hit tonight. Phil Gosselin has a home run. A couple of RBIs this year, part of a double switch. Followed by Hamilton. And then Peraza.
Always worry about a long inning like that, you know, if you're the pitcher. But usually what does help is if you batted, kind of get your juices flowing a little bit.
And a ground ball that's foul near the Cardinal dugout.
Martinez has Sunday's ball game against their veteran Homer Bailey.
The 2-2 pitch. Not a lot left over the middle of the plate. And if it is, it's up from Weaver.
Yeah.
Where he gets a lot of those strikeouts on elevated pitches.
Talk about it. You know, pitchers want both sides of the plate, but they want the corners.
The 2-2. Strikeout number 7. Hyundai pitch arsenal today. Compare that to what he's done this season. Not using the changeup as much, more curveballs. About the same amount of fastballs. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. Billy Hamilton 0 for 1 with a walk. Weaver has been, at least in his young career, a strikeout pitcher. Better than 11 per 9. Already up to 7 tonight. Pitch number 81.
His career high in strikeouts is 10. He's done that 3 different times.
And the 0-2 pitch. Put in play by Hamilton. Molina, tough play here. Spins, throws, not in time.
Both hits tonight have been infield hits. He's got to pounce on this ball. You know the speed of Billy Hamilton, and does everything he can. Anybody else, and he gets them out at first base for that effort. But Hamilton, just that quick.
Peraza for 2, grounded to second and struck out. And a strike. Down by 5. You wouldn't anticipate Hamilton to be running. Peraza came to Cincinnati. Scott Schebler, 3-team deal. White Sox, Reds, Dodgers. And has had the bulk of the playing time at short. Ground ball. DeYoung gets the lead man in the stretch by Wong.
Not a double play ball, and then you're going to have to kind of rush it with Billy Hamilton, the runner that's going into second. So
prior to last night, the last time that Joey Votto did not start, September 2nd of 2016, and Brian Price said to the media that they're going to essentially force him to take some time off, try to keep him fresh after the long night the previous day in Philadelphia. Night game, went into extra innings, got to the ballpark around 2:30. they figured it was the right time to do it.
We thought it was perfect. We wouldn't mind him getting the next 2 days off too.
He is their threat. There's no doubt about it.
You can't let him beat you. You know, he was very diplomatically saying that I appreciate a manager that takes that in consideration. You know, I played every game a year ago. Last time he had a time off was back in 2016.
1 ball and 1 strike. White Sox and Twins were postponed today. Atlanta in Chicago against the Cubs. A 4-0 win. Joe Mauer with hit number 2,000 last night for the Minnesota Twins in the hometown product. Here's a 2-1 pitch.
Minnesota was somewhat criticized for not taking fire. Instead, they signed Joe Mauer as their #1 pick in the country that year, the hometown product. And I think it's paid off for him big time.
Class act, great player. 2-2 the count. Votto 0 for 2. They set up in. Weaver, and look what I found. Takes the hit away from Joey Votto. Look what I found. In your glove, Luke. He'll take it. 5-zip Cardinals.
Like it.
Cardinals with a pair of home runs. And Fowler with a base hit into center. He's 2 for 4.
2 for 5 last night. Now 2 for 4 in this game. Let him heat it up a little bit.
Plaza Tire, Fox Tracks. The pitch to Dexter Fowler.
Just on the inner part of the plate, fastball, and he just turns on it. Powers it through the infield.
Tommy Pham 2 for 3 tonight with a run scored. Both hits going to right field. Goes to right again. Philip Ervin going back and makes the catch on the track. Luke Gregerson pitched in the 8th inning for Palm Beach tonight. 1 inning, 2 hits, no runs, struck out 2. 15 pitches, 11 were strikes. Dylan Floro, right-hander, throwing in the Reds pen.
He was just recalled today as Rainey was set out.
Matt Carpenter with a double into right into the corner back in the 6th inning. Fly to center and also struck out. Two and 0. Wow. Called that a strike. 2-1 the count. Go from 2-1 instead of 3-0. Man. Carpenter lifts it in the air to center. The catch by Hamilton. And the batter will be Marcell Ozuna. Singled, picked up an RBI in the 6th inning, scored a run, and extended his hitting streak to 12 games. Rounded into a double play and also struck out. Five-0 our score. Ozuna lifts it in the air down the right field line. And a foul ball.
Sometimes has some funky swings, but the ball jumps off his bat.
It's Matt Bowman there on the right. I believe Tyler Lyons or Bud Norris. It's Bud Norris on the left. And that's a base hit into center field. Look at this. Fowler to third and thrown out. See if the Cardinals do challenge. It's a 2-hit night for Marcell Ozuna. This will be the 2nd time this week that Fowler's been thrown out on the bases. Not what you want to do. Outfield assists this year. He's had 42 since the beginning of 2014. That's 4th among all outfielders in the game. Starling Marte leads since 2014 with 46 outfield assists.
I mentioned last night he's been a finalist for the Gold Glove last couple of years. Billy Hamilton.
Last 4 years.
Last 4 years.
Yeah. Here's Scooter Gennett. When you think about that play with Dexter Fowler, don't want to make the third out at third and trying to catch Hamilton napping.
Cardinal rule, you don't want to make the first or the third out of an inning at third base.
Especially with Jose Martinez coming
up.
up.
Yeah, I mean, you guys on and bringing up one of the best hitters and trying to catch him napping a little bit. Ball goes up here. Watch Dexter kind of deking him, and then he tried to take off. But Billy Hamilton really does have a good accurate arm, and if you're safe, you look like you picked a pocket. But when you're out, you wish you wouldn't have done it.
And a base hit into right field. Scooter Gennett with just the 3rd hit tonight for the Reds.
More than likely Weaver's last inning of work, so you'd like to do it very efficiently. Pitch count at 94 right now. See if the Cardinals don't get the bullpen active. We saw them stretching last half inning. Very efficient night. Love to see him get through this 7th inning though. How about a double play off the bat of Mesoraco?
He's got through 7 innings twice in his career. Mesoraco had the first base hit for the Reds. Came under review back in the 5th.
We talked about how Weaver elevates the ball and gets a lot of mileage out of it, and yet you see the bullpen and Bowman. Greg Holland has his routine, but when you get tired, your elevate the ball. It's kind of, is it a byproduct of pitching that way, or is it that he's starting to get a bit tired?
1 ball and 2 strikes. Mesoraco 1 for 2 on the night. Outfield is straight away. That's it out of play. Crowd tonight 19,561. 19561. Lifted in the air out to deep left. Ozuna going back at the wall, and it's gone. 2-run homer for Devin Mesoraco, and that makes it a 5-2 St. Louis lead.
First home run and first RBIs of the year for Mesoraco. Sure, they're asking if Bowman is ready. See where this pitch is. Up, out over the plate, just a rifle shot. Line drive just reaches the seats.
Here's Duvall. He's 0 for 2. Molina telling Fowler to move in right field. He's positioning the defense, and Dexter very shallow in right. And now he moves back.
And now Yachty. I'd have to say this is just stalling, trying to get the bullpen ready.
It was the 69th batter that Weaver's faced this year, and his first home run allowed.
He had allowed 1 run in each of his first 2 starts, so great job here, and now they've gotten the affirmative that Bowman is ready.
So B.R. Chevy called to the pen. Had a lot of fans ask me about those patches, DH and BE, and umpires are honoring the longtime National League umps Doug Harvey and Bob Engel. Both passed away this offseason. So those are those patches for those that are curious about that. Fans don't miss very much when they watch these games, and that's why those patches are on the sleeves of the umpires.
Yeah, a lot of times that one little YouTube video of me with an umpire rolling the ball back and forth, that was Bob Engel.
That was in Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium. And Doug Harvey was a Hall of Fame umpire who you'd ask him where was that pitch, and he would say it was just about an inch outside, son. He always called you son. Everybody said, "You're not my dad. Don't call me son."
Did you get along with him?
I got along with all of them. They had a job to do.
One walk, 7 strikeouts, 4 hits for Weaver tonight. Duvall is 3 for 7 against Matt Bowman. A couple of doubles, a triple. 1 ball and 1 strike. Duvall 0 for 2 tonight.
Good pitch there.
Notice that curveball's a little bit better, the breaking ball this year from Matt Bowman.
Well, I think when he has rest, he's been highly effective. And there you see the tight spin on the breaking ball. And, you know, he's just been such a workhorse. He's been the Cardinals fireman coming in and put out a rally. Here he comes, one of the rare times he comes in and with nobody on base, but that's been his forte.
Point. Yeah. Don't see him start many innings.
No. It's not always fun to come in with men on base, and that's when it's really so important. The first batter you face is going to determine whether you're successful or not.
It's pulled foul, 2-2.
And I think we worried about Bowman's appearances more than you know, Mike Matheny or Bowman himself worries about it. He's just ready to pitch every day, and you have to respect that.
And a fly ball lifted out to left. Ozuna on the move near the line and makes the catch. Brian Shapiro, our producer, says, tell everybody about the game tomorrow. So we will. Tomorrow, the Reds and Cardinals, game number 3. 11:30 on the air with the pregame show on Fox Sports Midwest. 5-2 our score. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes here as well. And the batter is Phillip Ervin, 0 for 2, struck out looking and popped out. Yadi, the way that he just caught that ball, boy, that's how he is able to get some of the calls for pitchers. Soft, quiet hands behind the plate. Not a lot of movement. Oh, and 2. Tucker Barnhart at the on-deck circle. We asked Mike Matheny about one of the shots that we had with our cameras picking up in the bullpen last night, where Brian Eversgerd and some of the relievers walking off the distance from the pitching rubber to the plate. And he said it's not uncommon in some places, in particular with the mounds, not necessarily the distance, but the mounds are different from a guy warming up in the bullpen to what they deal with once they get on the field. Here's a 1-2.
Now, I know Major League Baseball comes and measures, and they measure also the height of the mound and also the steepness of the landing area. And I would think they would do it also in the bullpens too. Mike's point was a lot of guys, people complain, and the first 10 pitches, if guy hasn't used, he's got a different slant or angle in the bullpen, and when he comes to this mound on the big field, it's a different landing area, and it takes them a while to adjust.
Alex Blandino started last night at third base. He'll pinch hit for Quackenbush. And Bowman has gotten the first 2. I was talking with a scout today. Follows the Cardinals. He said, I'll tell you what, this bullpen is taking shape. Been had a chance to see some of the other teams in the first couple of weeks, and speaking in glowing terms about the Cardinals pen, especially when they get Gregerson back. Holland finds his form. The way that Hicks is thrown, a guy like Bowman that can clean up an inning. Here's Brian Eversgerd. 2 strikes.
Dan, I think it's going to be very telling that there's going to be some real tough competition, and some guys already have been sent out that you could say they haven't done anything wrong at this level, but think about Gregerson comes back, and somebody's got to go down. may be a case where somebody throws multiple innings and, you know, situation that way, but they'll all be up and down this year.
2-2.
If you got options, you might find yourself in Memphis for a short period.
It's one of the, interesting aspects of the deal with Toronto to get Dominic Leone. He has options. Bowman's got options. Brebbia. Myers. The 2-2 pitch.
So Lyons is out of options, so is Tui Bilala. You're not going to send down. Even in Greg Holland's contract, they had to put in a special provision that he accepted because of the length of major league service, that he would go down, but he could only go down one time, and that was bringing back up.
Popped up. Martinez over, and it's out of play. Blandino, 29th overall pick, 2014. Had 36 doubles last year between AA Pensacola and AAA Louisville. 3-2 pitch. And a base hit into center. That'll be his first big league hit.
A solid base hit for his first, right up the middle. Try not to smile.
Still love seeing that moment.
Oh, sure. If you're not a pitcher.
Here's Gosselin. To the count. Struck him out. So Gosselin strikes out. Martinez coming up. 2-run homer by Mesoraco, and the Reds get on the board. Luke Weaver trying to pick up another win. So are the Cardinals. 8th inning rolls in. It's 5-2. Cardinals about hit the Reds 12-5. Jose Martinez, Yadier Molina, and Paul DeYoung for St. Louis. Our Chevy called to the pen, no stranger to the National League Central Division, Jared Hughes. And already his 8th appearance. Blandino stays in the game after his first ever major league hit. Martinez 2 for 3 on the night.
Right about Jared Hughes. All the years, about 6 years in Pittsburgh, and then last year with Milwaukee. Signed as a free agent with the Reds here. Very reliable setup man.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Martinez, a base hit to right back in the 2nd inning, then caught stealing. Single to right again. Came up in the 6th when the Cardinals sent 9 men to the dish. With runners at first and third, nobody out, grounded out to third. The 1-1.
Six-seven batter against a 6-7 pitcher.
See Jose shaking his hands after that first ground ball that he pulled foul. Stingers. Sometimes see that in particular with a ball off the end of the bat or in cold weather.
Garrett Hughes talked about how reliable he is. Over the last 6 seasons, he's posted a 285 ERA. That's over 380 appearances.
That's hit out of play.
Still bothering, huh?
On that reaction, he thought he had a pitch to drive.
Achilles, the ankle, or didn't connect.
3-2.
Now it's something in his eye. Hand still bothering him.
Red hot, 8 for his last 11.
Still flexing that right hand.
And again, just got a piece. The last time the Cardinals had a player with 4 hits, drove in 6 in a game in Cincinnati, was Mark Whitten. His 4 home run game. Jose's dad, who had a little pop, never had a 6 RBI game.
That Whitten game was the second game of a doubleheader and ended about 1 in the morning to about 1,500 fans.
3-2 is popped up. Martinez giving it the Carlton Fisk wave to get out of play, but it didn't happen. Yadier Molina has driven in 3 tonight, including his 5th home run. Went down to get it.
Looked like he was just making contact. Looked like a harmless fly ball, but in this ballpark, hitter friendly, and it just carried out.
Five home runs, first 14 games this year. Molina looks at a strike. Came up with 2 on in the 6th. And picked up a single to drive in 2. Now has driven in 11 for the year. Hughes has added that new little wrinkle to his delivery. At times he'll drop down sidearm.
And coming from a 6'7" frame, you'd think it would be released behind the back of a right-handed batter. Yadier well off the plate.
And a swing and a miss for the strikeout.
It's kind of throws from that 3/4 angle. Hard to believe with the years he had with Pittsburgh that he was released, you know, last season coming out of spring training, gobbled up by Milwaukee.
Tony Watson is now with San Francisco, the former Pirate. Mark Melanson as well. Jason Grilli was very good for a couple of years there.
Yeah, they had a good solid bullpen at back end. And even last year in Milwaukee, Hughes was 5-3, 3.02 ERA and 67 appearances with 1 save. Young's been fighting it a little bit, but still has those 4 home runs.
The 2-1 pitch. Was it foul? Tonight he was called out on strikes, reached on an error, and popped out. That's held on to by Mesoraco. So Hughes a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 8th. And the top of the lineup for the Reds coming up. Ball to the pen, his 8th appearance already. Billy Hamilton has walked, struck out, had an infield hit back in the 6th. Cardinals with a 3-run lead. Hamilton now 1 run shy of 300. 1 hit shy of 500.
Turn the switch hitter around to the right side where he's 1 for 11.
Peraza on deck, and then Joey Votto. The corners are in. That's Carpenter at third, Martinez at first. 2 balls and no strikes. Cardinals picked up a run in the 2nd, 4 in the 6th. As they batted around. They have 12 hits on the night. They've stranded 5. Cincinnati with a 2-run homer by Mesoraco. 3-1 the count.
I think Tyler's really gotten in the groove yet. Had trouble locating his breaking ball.
He's had trouble against left-handed batters.
Yeah, that's not uncommon for certain lefties. A lot of times it's starters that have that trouble. And early in his career, that's where he was, bouncing back and forth, starting, relieving.
3-2 taken high. Leadoff walk, second walk issued to Hamilton.
As a pitcher, you come in here and you look at Billy Hamilton, you say, the last thing I want to do is walk him.
And the last thing you want to do is have Votto come up with a chance to tie it up. With 1 swing of the bat, that would happen if Peraza can get aboard. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Carpenter playing in at third. Peraza bunting. Lyons nearly stumbled, and a nice pick by Martinez. Ooh, it had the look of something disastrous about to happen there.
It almost looked like his cleat was going to catch and then make the bad throw to Martinez. Boy, he did bounce that ball. Nice pick by Jose to save him.
Joey Votto, good numbers against Lions. 5 for 11. 2 home runs, 3 doubles.
Tyler's problem with lefties lately has been throwing that breaking ball, but not getting it to the outer part of the plate, and leaving it on the inner half and down.
Votto, how about that? What a piece of hitting. Goes the other way. A run will score, and the tying run will come to the plate. Almost an inside-out swing from Joey Votto.
That's why he's such a good hitter, Danny, because he can, you know, whether you've got a flamethrower out there or a breaking ball, or, you know, it's a breaking ball, but you see, once again, it's another one that's on the inner part of the plate, and then he uses his hands to inside out it, like you said, and gets the RBI.
A lefty here, and then Mesoraco on deck. A swing and a miss by Jeanette. I just wonder if the Cardinals, and you mentioned Greg Holland is a possibility tonight, save situation. If you get through the lefty here, what do you think about Jordan Hicks coming in, getting the final out, and then also looking ahead to the 9th?
If he's warming up, you know, and if he's ready, yeah, I would. So once again, there's a breaking ball that he just can't get it down.
Dominic Leone.
You got to use these guys to get them straightened out. So over the course of the season, you're going to be happy with them. That was a good breaking ball. Talk about it when he's got his breaking ball going right. It's just nasty.
That was filthy there.
And it just doesn't matter if it's a lefty or righty. But lefty, righty, doesn't matter. If you make a good pitch, you got a chance to get him out. Make a bad pitch, anybody's got a chance to beat you.
Outside corner and struck him out. There's 2 away. And Mike Matheny hops out of the dugout. Painted the corner. Beautiful pitch. Plaza Tire Service replay. First strikeout for Lyons.
That was a great pitch right there. Let's see what Leone can do.
Dominic Leone to face Devin Mesoraco, who is homer tonight, when we come back. Dominic Leone with the tying run at the plate. 1-2 already the record for Leone. ERA at 6.35.
You love the strikeouts, but you don't like the 3 home runs allowed.
That's just when that slider spins and
Yeah.
doesn't have that break.
Cutter, and it just doesn't cut. It just sits there. And
Mesoraco represents the tying run. RBI base hit by Votto to score Hamilton in this inning to make it 5-3. A little bit high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
this time out, Leone got the win. It's 1 inning. 2 strikeouts. He only throws right around that 89 miles an hour with his fastball, but it's his slider or cutter. That is his significant pitch. But that's when he's got to stay on top of it and get that downward tilt down and away. It can be very, very effective.
Oh, he picked him off.
How about
he picked
that?
him off. Votto sleeping at first base. And that can't happen. With the tying run at the plate, Joey Votto picked off at first base.
It's the second pickoff he's gotten this year.
Goodness. Sends us to the 9th. Ball game. Or Chevy called to the pen. Rookie pitchers last year, he had 69 appearances. It'll be Colton Wong. Then Leone's spot and Dexter Fowler. Bud Norris is up and throwing in the Cardinals pen. Third baseman in, that's Blandino. And Votto is even with the bag at first. Colton Wong with a base hit to right back in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 on the night.
Munoz is going to pinch hit after Wong.
That pitch tied him up, nothing
Yeah.
in 2.
Good pitch in on his hands. There's Munoz.
And the 0-2 pitch.
Love to see Colton get another hit, and this time a hit off the lefty. Hold that front shoulder in.
2-2.
See, Peralta 97.
Puts it in play. Votto charging. Nice. Flips it out of the glove to Peralta covering the bag. Nifty play there.
PFP, pitcher's getting over the field and just flips it right up there. Just perfect. Just right at the eye level so he doesn't have to reach for it. Step on the bag and catch the ball in all in one motion. And here's Munoz.
Jairo Munoz. Tough start for him in his big league career. He does have a hit, though.
0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. He had a lot of trouble with strikeouts.
Munoz hits it down the left field line, and that's a fair ball off the wall. And he now has a double to his resume.
Like that. His first pinch hit in the big leagues, second hit overall. First extra base hit, Dan?
Yes, sir.
Just there.
So now it's Dexter Fowler back to the top of the lineup. Fowler 2 for 4 with a double. Pair of RBI against Wandy Peralta.
Turning him around where he's 1 for 12, batting right-handed. His natural side of the plate.
Cardinals now with 13 hits tonight.
That's good to see also, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Flawless game, no errors. Wouldn't mind an extra insurance run.
Tommy Pham on deck. He's got a couple of hits. Carpenter with a double. Ozuna a pair of hits. So 1 through 4 has done some damage here tonight. One ball and 1 strike.
Fowler has had success against Peralta. He's 2 for 4. A double and 2 RBIs.
Two balls and a strike. Very shallow in center field, fairly shallow in left, and maybe a little too deep in right for Fowler. 2-1 pitch. Munoz thought about going to third. Put on the brakes and back to the bag. And it's 3-1. Gets hit out of play. Fowler, the home run back in the 6th. His 2nd of the year. Solo home run, and he's driven in 6 on the season. 3-2 pitch. Reds will have Mesoraco, Duvall, and Irvin coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Puts it in play, slowly hit. Munoz now advancing from 2nd to 3rd. Sure, part of that conversation that Jose Oquendo is having, the intentional walk to Tommy Pham, is about contact there with Munoz. Don't hesitate, just go.
Yeah, the way he's coming like that, if you just take off, you know, he is a left-hander, and you do look at third base, but he had no intentions the way he fielded the ball.
So they want the lefty-lefty matchup here. Carpenter against Peralta. Matt is 1 for 4 against the Reds lefty. It's the third time, by the way, that Tommy Pham has been on base. The intentional walk, a pair of singles, and a run scored. Landino even with the bag, but well off the line at third. Votto holding at first. And the 1-0. Pham is running, and a no throw by Mesoraco. Stolen base for Tommy Pham.
His third steal. Got a ways to go for his 30-30.
Now we are 2 weeks into the regular season, so we got a ways to go there
too.
too.
2 and 2, and now he's 2 home runs and 3 steals. So he's
getting there,
taking his time. Well, you know what, Danny? If you sit there, I guess we played 2 weeks. They got this year. Normally we have like 26 weeks of the season. This year is 27.
It's more off days built into the year.
Yeah. So
the idea behind that is trying to keep players as sharp and as healthy as they can be.
Right, and that started the season a little bit early. So with the intent to the World Series would not carry into November, but I think it's for 4 extra days off for the players.
Carpenter stayed away, did not go, so says Bill Miller. Hitters count now 3-1. And Ozuna on deck. See, this is the impact that Ozuna can make on Matt Carpenter.
That's a very good point, because Cardinals haven't had that feared hitter. Somebody that the other teams and pitching staff has fear of. And Ozuna represents that very well. Not since Holiday in his prime.
And now the base is loaded. Did not want to pitch to Pham. Go to Carpenter, lefty-lefty matchup, and Brian Price probably just about ready to pull his hair out. Walks Carpenter, and now you have Ozuna. It's another 2-hit night for Marcell Ozuna. 2 for 4, hitting streak at 12. And he's got 19 hits on the year, and that's in the top 3 of the National League.
The manager's decision are only as good as the execution of the players.
A swing and a miss by Ozuna. And the 0-1 pitch to Marcell Ozuna. Now 0-2.
You can't make a pitching change every time. You know, say a lefty comes up and has to face a right-hander. There's times where you just got to get people out.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Ozuna. Outside, 1-2. Fans wanted that call, and they didn't get it.
Fastballs and changeups.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out Ozuna, and the Cardinals strand. The base is loaded. We had 2. The bottom of the 9th, and Bud Norris coming in. This base hit, the Budweiser play of the game, that would bring in 2. Cardinals have never trailed in this game and have a 2-run lead as we move to the bottom of the 9th.
That's the difference in this ball game. Those last 2 RBIs, Yachty's got 3 on the night as he hit a home run for the first scoring in this ball game, and Bud Norris will take over.
This is our Chevy call to the pen. 7th appearance for Norris. Does have 1 save, and that was Saturday against Arizona. Devin Mesoraco, 2 hits tonight. Picked up the first hit for the Reds back in inning number 5. Play that was reviewed and went the Reds' way. Also a 2-run homer in the 7th. Outfield is deep. They are straight away. And the 0-1. Tapped foul. Norris with 19 saves last season with the Angels. Also used setup, middle relief, started some games. Get the feeling that his role has grown with greater importance as we've gotten into this season.
It seemed like when he was signed, there was kind of a swing man, possibility of going in the rotation, but then in spring training they said, no, you're going to be a reliever. That save he did to acquire was his first National League save.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Mesoraco, good numbers against the Cardinals right-hander. Double, home run, 4 for 8. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Taken low, 2-2.
One thing, you do not want to walk anybody late in this game.
Three and 2. A dangerous man, even though he's not going well, Duvall, but one swing of the bat, man on. This game's tied.
Yeah, you're right about that. I've been worried about Duvall all day. So a home run right here by Mesoraco can't beat you, but a walk and a blast ties it. So you've got to get Mesoraco out.
A 3-2 pitch. Norris struck him out. Went with a slider, it looked like, on the 3-2.
I just saw that after the strikeout, he kind of flashed a little sign to Yachty, like, nice call. Great location, though. Off the plate, gets him to swing at it. There's what I was talking about, just saying, good call, buddy. Or is it Mr. Molina?
Maybe both. Strike to Duvall.
Boy, he's in between. 30+ home runs the last 2 years.
Oh for 3. And now 1 for his last 25. Guarding the line at third, it's Carpenter. That's the only place that you think about Duvall where he could put it. They had him shifted on the infield. Little flare in the right, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yachty set up inside. They come in on him, and he just fights it off and flares it into right field. Always worry about pitching inside late in the ball game. Hitting it to the shortest part of the field. Irvin, a former #1 draft pick. The Reds.
One out, runner at first. And a ball taken low.
Wouldn't mind ending it on a double play, would you?
See that slider low and away, get him to roll over on a ground ball.
That's what I'm thinking. Expecting him to pull it.
And the 1-0. I don't know. He may have gotten away with that pitch there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals can hold on. They get back to the 500 mark.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when you will throw a pitch and you cringe and sit there and like, oh no, and the guy swings and misses it or pops it up.
Backdoor sliders, you know, things that just roll and you get away with it.
And then other times, you know, you throw a pitch and you think it's a pretty good one, right where you want it. You got to give credit to the hitter. There, you wanted that strike.
I think about Molina's home run. That was not that bad of a pitch tonight.
And I think if you ask Yachty, I don't think he thought it was out. But that's what this ballpark can do. Many times it will not reward a pitcher for a decent pitch or a good pitch.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Phillip Ervin. 3-1. Bud Norris was emotional, and he talked about it on Saturday after the game. His emotions were running high. He's always wanted to pitch for the Cardinals. Picked up that first save. He's got family that have been Cardinal fans. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Single and now a walk. And the winning run comes to the plate in Blandino. And his first major league hit to center field back in the 7th inning. Molina, the slow walk out to Norris just to slow him down. Tucker Barnhart is at the on-deck circle.
You know, Yachty, because of the new rule of appearances, probably does not go to the mound as often as he would like, but this is one of those times that I think it's well deserved. Go down there and slow down more Norris a little bit. Just tell him, hey, just throw strides, get the ball down. We're going to get a ground ball. We're going to get out of it. And we're going to celebrate in a minute or two.
Runners at first and second. Strike 1.
Carpenter guarding the line at third. Remember, Young plays a little closer to second base to keep the ball from going to the outfield and keeping a runner from scoring from second.
1 ball and 1 strike. Just seems like, with the exception of the game yesterday, nothing has been easy, wins or losses for the Cardinals. Tight games. A pitch here or there that could change the fortunes of that particular game. And that's the case again here tonight. The 1-1. Good pitch. Throws that again. He probably gets him.
I think so. Hey, just look at that good execution.
A little bit high. 2-2.
Plenty on the fastball. It just it's kind of not going the strike zone, controlling it, getting behind, giving hitters a chance. Remember, the more pitches they see, the better chance they've got to get one they can handle.
Struck him out. Tucker Barnhart, the final hope for the Reds with 2 runners on.
It's overpowering with that fastball right there. Another little meeting on the mound. I don't think of Barnhart hitting a home run or anything, but he is their everyday catcher, last year's Gold Glove winner.
Barnhart with 7 home runs, if you're wondering, a year ago. He represents the winning run. A couple of mound visits for the Cardinals here. 4 remaining. 5-3 our score. A win tonight, the Cardinals at least earn a split in this 4-game series. And there's strike 1.
Got to get grittier than that, Danny. You know, you got to come in here and, to be honest, if you win the first 2, you can't be content with anything less than a sweep. You're going to have to beat up clubs like Cincinnati, because there's a lot of good teams in the Central Division and the rest of the National League.
Banged up team too, getting him at the right time, scuffling right now, but Cardinals just worried about this 3rd out here in game 2.
A little bit of luck, the Cardinals can pick up ground on Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, and Chicago.
2 outs, 2 on, and the 0-1 pitch to Tucker Barnhart. One and 2. The Reds have struck out 12 times tonight. Norris would love to make it lucky number 13.
Go ahead in the count, and then you can go for the corners and get them to chase.
The 1-2 pitch, 2-2.
You're a hitter or pitcher in this situation right now, you're trying to control your breathing.
The 2-2.
The ball out at second base. Should be able to, with 2 strikes on the hitter, 2 outs, you should get a real good jump. Almost be an umpire.
The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Norris strikes out the side. And the Cardinals win game 2 by the final of 5-3.
Nice effort right there. I'm sure Barnhart thought it was high, but the Cardinals, they finally hold on to this one and reward Weaver. He should be 3-0 the way he's pitched all the year, but he'll take his 2nd victory tonight with his effort, and nice work by the bullpen for the 2nd night in a row.
The Cardinals are 7-7 on the young year. The Reds drop to 2-11. Coming up, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Jim Hayes will take you inside the Cardinals clubhouse. Hear from the players and manager Mike Matheny. The Cardinals 5, the Reds 3. Post-game show is next.